Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I got this 2001 Chevy S10 pickup truck here. It's an extended cab. It's a 2.2 liter, the 4-cylinder motor. It's got a check engine light on, and I've determined that it's a bad fuel tank pressure sensor. So on these, in all honesty, it takes you less than 10 minutes to take the bed off. Obviously, if you do it in your driveway, it's probably not that easy to get the bed off. But here, because I got a lift or even an engine hoist, it's not that bad to do. So on a lift, I just like, the heck with it. There's 6 bolts and a couple of connectors and stuff like that, and the thing comes right off. So, but in doing so, it reminded me of an issue that I ran into before. And this is not the first time I've run into this. Years ago, a couple of years ago actually, somebody was doing something very similar on one of these. And as soon as I pulled the bed off, it kind of like, jarred a little screws loose that are already loose. And it reminded me of something. I remember somebody had pulled the bed off of one, and then it wouldn't start after. He's like, why won't this thing start? Okay. Well, it had no fuel pressure. Why didn't it have no fuel pressure? So I get tasked with checking it. Okay. So I go and since the bed's already off, let me show you. There is the fuel tank fuel pump, the whole module assembly, fuel tank pressure sensor is right there. There's the bed. But I took the connector off for the fuel pump, and I went to go start it. I was like, okay, well I got power there because I had a test light hooked up, and I had power. But then something got me thinking. Maybe it's not the power. Maybe it's the ground. So I jumped the connector with the test light. Nothing. I had no ground. Okay. So I go to find that one of the grounds that goes to the bed actually shares a eyelet, or shares a bolt, and there's another eyelet that goes through that bolt. And that eyelet is the ground for the fuel pump. So here, let me show you something. If you look down there, you will see the eyelet, and I have it hooked to a test light. The test light is hooked to ground. Okay, so now that's the ground wire. Okay, well, check this out. All I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the key on. I got power. Why do I have power on the ground? Because the ground isn't a ground until it's grounded. How does a light bulb work? You have power going in one end, ground on the other end. The two meet together and they light the light. That's how a test light works. So, if you think about it, yes, this is a ground wire. However, it's a power wire until it's grounded. So, right now, I have power into the test light. Hang on. And the test light is completing the circuit and going to ground. I have it grounded there. So now power comes in, then I have the ground, they meet in the middle, or wherever, and they light the light. That's how an electric motor works. That's how most things electrical work. You need a power and a ground source to make the thing work. So your ground side, if you have power on the ground side, you don't have ground. Follow? Same thing going the other way. If you have a ground all the way up at the fuse box, well, guess what? More than likely you don't have power. In a case like that, though, you'd want to use like a fused jumper wire. Just make one up with a 10 amp fuse. This way you can go right to the battery to add power to it. If you add power to that circuit and how everything works, well, great. You just figured out that it's got no power getting out to that circuit. You can do that with a test light, stuff like that. I'm just saying. So, yeah, it's something that's very simple. It's something that gets overlooked, and people don't even think about it. Hey, why do I have power on the ground? Well, because the ground is not a ground. It's actually not grounded. It doesn't become a ground until it's grounded. You have to complete the circuit somewhere. So it's something that's easily overlooked. I've done it. You get ahead of yourself. You start thinking, and your mind goes in one direction, and you just absolutely go off in a tangent in the wrong way. I've done it. It happens. It happens to everybody. You really go down the wrong path, and then all of a sudden you got to take a step back and be like, wait a minute, let me start all over again. And then you're like, what a mistake I just made. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. This video is not about me changing a fuel tank pressure sensor. There was just too much going on for me to, get into making a video in regards to that. So at some point in the future, I'll have another one where I'm gonna have to change the sensor. I guarantee it. I probably change 3 of these a year, not necessarily on these, but just on GM vehicles in general. So, all right. Yeah. So hopefully you're getting something on my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. If you look down in the description, you'll see I have links to Amazon products. Well, not Amazon products. Products that are for sale on Amazon. I got like scanners and just different tools. They're budget-friendly pieces. These are things that I use personally, and I highly recommend them. They're budget-friendly, like I said. So it's all stuff that you're going to use, and you'll really get good luck out of the stuff I'm telling you to use. Bro, the scanner, like, that blows me away. That launch scanner that I bought, it just absolutely blows my mind at how good that scanner actually is, especially for the price. For $460, and then on Prime days or whatever, you can get it for like $360 or $370 or whatever the heck it is. And then that new little scanner that I got that I made the video on, I'm gonna be using that on different things. But yeah, like I'm not gonna use it on this because I have to actuate things. That little scanner, that $200 scanner, will not do that. It'll read data and it'll do other things, not what I need on this. So that's why I'm not using it. But yeah, so even if you don't buy anything, if you could please click the links, it does help me a little bit. So, all right, that's about it. Oh, and upcoming in the future, I've gotten invited to talk on a radio show, Motor Mouth Radio. Thank you, Ray. I've been invited to talk on the Sunday broadcast, and I will be doing that at some point, probably in September. I don't know yet because I got to head up to New York anyway, and that's where I'm going to do that. And I got the thing that I've been working on, that I've been telling you, I got something in the works. It's all coming to fruition. Everything's looking good. I'm sweating like a pig. And hopefully by Friday of next week, I'll be able to tell you what's going on. So other than that, that's about it. So, all right, guys, you guys are the best. I enjoy making these videos for you. I hope you're getting something out of them. All right, so that's about it. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.